get going. Gotta catch those runners taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Dr. Chad on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream for Wednesday, June 4th. Market's pretty flat here, about a 20-point overnight range in the S&P. S&P is currently up 4, NASDAQ up 15, Russell up 1, Dow up 7. Gold and silver both pretty flat as well. Gold slightly green, silver slightly red. Notes and bonds are green, 10-year yield down 1%, oil flat, natural gas down 1%. All the grains are green. Euro and the pound are both up a little bit. Bitcoin down about 1%, VIX down at the freeze, minus 0.68%, currently at 17.57. So it looks like the 1 DTE may not qualify here unless the VIX gets a little pop before the open. As far as big movers on the stocks, CoreWeave up another 3.5%. Hood, I was actually watching it this morning, and right when I was watching it, it had a quick pop right at 750 Central. To a new all-time high. It's kind of trailed off since then, but still up 2.5%. Snowflake up 2%. TSM up 2%. SMCI up 1 3/4. Nvidia's up a little bit. And just a handful of stocks on the red side. Nothing down more than 1%. I want to see the S&P and NASDAQ get above their pre-market highs for any kind of real long conviction in a trade. And if we go below pre-market lows, I'll be looking on the short side. Russell's a little bit weaker. It just went back into the red and a little bit closer to its pre-market lows. Morning, Abash. Morning, Krish. Well, now Hood's given up everything that it spiked. One minute until the bell. Looks like SPX is going to have about a 29-point expected move today. Pretty similar to yesterday. Looks like 29.4. Yesterday I had it 29.7. NDX 112. Yesterday it was about 120. And no print on the VIX yet. Price is moving up. I would assume it would contract a little bit even more, so we'll probably know 1 DTE. Okay, there's the first VIX print. Yeah, down minus 0.79, so no 1 DTE today. S&P and NASDAQ pushing out of the gate. SPX pushed a little bit above yesterday's high. NDX is approaching yesterday's high. HIMS popped up. It's up 4.5%. Put HIMS on one of my boards. That's it. AVGO opened right above yesterday's high. It's pushing. MU's pushing again. SMH is the strongest sector. Crypto is a little bit weak. Utilities, real estate, a little bit red. Financials, barely green. SMH up almost 1%. Tesla going red below yesterday's lows. Nvidia's coming down. Netflix and Google and Amazon and Meta are all pushing. So Meta is the strongest of the big boys. CrowdStrike had earnings. I did a bullish butterfly. It's down 8%. So that's most likely a loser. Yeah, it had that spike pre-market, but now it's down in the red. As far as financials go, JP Morgan, Goldman, Bank of America all pushing into green territory, just a little bit green. Coinbase, Bitcoin starting to bounce. S&P and NASDAQ approaching pre-market highs. Wow, HIMS. HIMS is on fire. It's at 7% now. SMCI, MU, AVGO, TSM looks like the strongest of the chips. And Nvidia is kind of acting weak. Meta pushed right up to yesterday's highs. So Meta had that big update Monday, paused yesterday. Now it kind of looks like it wants to continue this breakout here. Let's see what it does. CrowdStrike, big drop from earnings after hitting new all-time highs the last couple days. All right, so we got S&P and NASDAQ pushing above pre-market highs. Nvidia bouncing back. Meta continuing. Apple getting strong. Google staying strong. Russell dipped into the red, but it's back above yesterday's high. Yeah, PMI at 845 and then 9 central. NASDAQ acting strong. MU pulling back. AVGO and TSM still acting strong. So we've got a couple minutes left here on this bar. I don't see any volume bars. Okay, Baba. I don't have that one on my board. Let's see. Alibaba. Yeah, Baba's got a volume bar ticked above pre-market highs. Today's Wednesday, so trading the 2-day options. All right, so I'll trade Baba if we get a little pullback. I would trade the 118 calls. Oh, Meta sure did make it. Yeah, I'm gonna focus on Meta, not Baba. That'll last minute push there. It's a big bar though to manage risk around. Baba's coming down. Don't really have a good level on Meta to manage. I'm going to get in Baba. 118 calls. Trying to get filled. Filled at 131. Kind of bounced on me right there, but I'm in. Oh, sorry about that. I try to remember to do that after the intro, but forgot. Got it now. Meta's still pulling back. So Meta's certainly an option here. I'll put my first profit target in Bob at 148 if it can bounce. S&P and NASDAQ above pre-market highs. AVGO is ripping. AVGO now the strongest of the chips. Now S&P and NASDAQ dipping back below pre-market highs. SMCI, big reversal. MU still pulling back. TSM and AVGO still staying strong on the chip stocks. Wow, Bank of America took off. Bank of America's got a big volume bar as well on the third one. PLTR is weak. Opened unchanged, now it's down 2.6%. Meta new highs. So that dip got bought up quickly. Baba still hasn't got bought up. Anybody take Meta?
Order filled. Order filled.
Oh yeah, Tesla. Tesla had a big volume bar to the downside. S&P and NASDAQ getting bought up. Had a little news report come out. Netflix pushing through highs. Yeah, it sure did. Pre-market low, and it lined right up with previous day low. All right, S&P almost back up to highs. NASDAQ trying, BABA is just sitting there still. Bitcoin just kind of choppy. Meta pushed up to new highs, but now pulling back a little bit again. MU pulled right back to pre-market highs, which was also yesterday's high. Bounced a little bit. AVGO, I think, has earnings tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. 6.5 after the bell, yeah. It's a little pre-market rally, or pre-earnings rally. Through all-time highs today. BABA is trying to bounce back up close to highs. A little more of a push out of BABA. Should hit my first profit target. Again, I have my order at 131. It's right there. Or no, that's where I got filled. 148. It's currently at 145. Filled at 148. NASDAQ and S&P trying to get back up to highs. Microsoft popping. Keep my eye on that. It's just under all-time highs. I was talking about this yesterday. It's at 464 and change. All-time highs 468 and change. It's getting a mighty 90 short right now. Bob is still pushing. We'll take some more off at 170 in BABA. Another little push will hit it. NASDAQ and S&P can't get through highs. Filled at 170. So now I'm down to my runner. Starting to question whether Meta was the one to take, but looks like BABA came through. China always coming through in the clutch. SMCI rolled all the way over down to lows. AVGO finally pulling back. So is TSM. MU giving it up. AMD is red. So the chips showing strength early and now kind of showing a little bit of weakness. Banks also rolling over a little bit. S&P and NASDAQ getting rejected at pre-market highs, so that's not a good sign for the bulls. NVIDIA going red. Microsoft back down. That's kind of an area where I might want to enter, but let's see what this... See where this little dip takes us. Microsoft held well. Yeah, I just have my indices on here. I've got 3 other boards, so I can't really show them all. I'll try to move things over if there's something to really talk about. But like Microsoft held above yesterday's high. Well, that was kind of a level I was looking at. It came down and bounced pretty quickly. Baba, a little bit of a pullback. When I got to 118.5. Tesla falling apart. PLTR falling apart. Apple still pushing. Meta trying to bounce back. Microsoft holding. S&P holding above yesterday's high. NASDAQ dipped a little bit below. Tried a couple times to break out above pre-market highs. Neither could do it. Bitcoin down to through pre-market lows. I want to get in Microsoft, but I don't want to. Hope it doesn't take off without me first. I was hoping to see a little bit more downside in the indices and it continuing to hold. Another big volume bar in Tesla. It's had a couple big pushes with big volume bars higher than the first now. NVIDIA bounced back, trying to stay green. Meta through highs. Let's see, what are Coinbase? Coinbase and MSTR both red. Kind of weak, acting weak like Bitcoin. There goes Microsoft and Meta. Maybe leaving the station without me. Baba had a little retracement off of 118.5. It's down to about 118 again. But still, I'm just holding my runners still at this point. I've got 5 contracts left. All right, so S&P and NASDAQ still dipping a little bit. Meta still rocking. Yeah, I probably should have been a little bit more aggressive with Microsoft getting long. S&P holding above yesterday's high. NASDAQ trying to get back up there. Got some more news coming out in 2 minutes. Not very important or high impact, but could do a little something. ISM Services PMI. I guess it does shows high impact on the calendar. All right, so let's see what that gives us. Probably a push, I would think. Sure looks like this market wants to push. Baba's trying to pop back up. Meta leading the way. Baba almost back up to highs of day. Here's the news, and the market's dipping. Little dippy. Baba is holding up really well. That news did not affect Baba much, which is nice. Apple's holding up well. Meta's dipping a little bit. Microsoft dipped right back down to yesterday's high again, where it held. Bitcoin another flush. Chips are falling. All chips falling. Banks falling. S&P and NASDAQ getting bought up quickly. Microsoft getting bought up quickly. Netflix back up to close to highs. Apple through highs. Let's just see where this kind of shakes out here. I've still got my BABA runner. BABA back up to highs. PLTR and Tesla getting hammered still. So is Nvidia and the chips. Meta pulling back. Microsoft is pulling back too, but it's still holding fairly well. It really looks like it wants to go up if this market will let it. And Apple still pushing. Bitcoin still going down. Big volume bar in the S&P on that flush. Really big volume bar in Bitcoin. Another volume bar in Tesla and PLTR. PLTR and Tesla are acting pretty identical. So when you see this, like some stocks staying strong, some acting weak, what this triggers in my mind is to be taking profits quickly. Now BABA has pretty low correlation to the overall U.S. markets a lot of times, so I'm okay kind of holding it. But for some of these other trades, I'm going to be taking quicker profits in both directions. Got a little bit of a tug of war between a few of these. Jeez, Tesla is getting
Order
hammered,
filled.
down 4%. MSTR down 2.5. Bitcoin still going down. NASDAQ and S&P going red. Could have entered Russell short below pre-market lows. I was looking at Bitcoin. It went too fast after that news came out. Another big volume bar in Tesla. Yikes. Markets no likey ISM. Meta rolling back down to yesterday's high. Microsoft coming down there as well. NASDAQ down through pre-market lows. S&P approaching pre-market lows. All right, Microsoft's still holding really well, so I'm going to be looking at a potential long here. If Microsoft can get down closer to yesterday's highs, I'm going to get long. I'd be trading the 465 calls. Yeah, Apple's staying strong as well. I want to see the S&P flush pre-market lows like NASDAQ did. All right, I'm going to get a starter position in Microsoft. 465 calls. Filled at $3 even. So on this drop, I was hoping Microsoft would get closer down to the yesterday's high. Didn't quite get there, but I did like I said, a starter position. So if it does come down some more, I've got some room to add. But this thing's just holding so well. Apple is staying really strong also.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
Dips
Order
getting caught
filled.
up in the indices. NASDAQ getting back in the green. S&P holding green. BABA pushing through highs of day. Meta held above yesterday's high. Yeah, Apple's acting like it's got somewhere to go here today. Chad, are you an Apple? Nice bounce. I would have liked to see Microsoft through highs of day on this kind of bounce, but Netflix through yesterday's high, which I think is a new all-time high, right? Yes, new all-time high in Netflix. Okay, so I'm going to get short the Russell up at pre-market lows. On the futures, so I'm just going to put an order at 2103.
Order working.
Yeah, so I've got an order at 2103 to get short. Come on, Microsoft. Meta, nice bounce. Microsoft, not a nice bounce. Yeah, I'm doing that on futures. Just micros. M2K. I should have had my order a little bit lower. I lowered it down to 2102.3.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm filled. Tesla still at lows. Nvidia, nice bounce. Meta back up to highs. Some of the chips are trying to bounce. TSM, nice bounce. Let's see what financials are doing. A little bit of a bounce. Dang, Meta ripping. Metamucil ripping. Baba popped through highs of day, kind of getting pushed back down. Microsoft, what is your problem? Get with the program. You're supposed to show strength on these bounces. Oh yeah, coin had a nice mighty 90 bounce. That's exactly what it is. Microsoft's being lazy. So with Russell, I want to see a reversal here pretty quick. I'm not going to give it too much room. I'm going to cut it pretty quick if it doesn't reverse. I thought even if the S&P and NASDAQ bounced, it may stay weak, but it's bouncing a little bit. Microsoft's starting to bounce a little bit. wasn't really paying good enough attention on this Russell trade. I usually like to see a 15 bar minute close under that level, and it actually didn't. It bounced back above it, but I'll give it a minute. I'll give it a bar. See if it wants to reverse here. Push back up almost to unchanged. Let's see if it can roll back over. Tesla having its biggest bounce of the day right now, which is not much. Well, Russell's getting strong here. I'm going to cut.
Order cancelled.
Minus $98 on a 4 lot. So S&P and NASDAQ kind of getting pushed back down a little bit. Microsoft just sloppy, choppy. Baba tried to push again, no follow through. Give it a little bit longer, may just close the remaining runner here if it doesn't get any legs. Netflix through highs. Goldman, JPM, Bank of America all bouncing. Hood trying to stay green. Amazon popped back up into positive territory. Apple's finally getting a little pullback. Indices still bouncing. Do not like the action in Microsoft compared to the NASDAQ. Microsoft was supposed to do what Meta's doing. It just didn't get the memo. Look at that massive volume spike in Tesla on that last one, on that last flush. First bar was about 2.2 million, I guess. This one was 4.5 billion plus. I would say that might be the exhaustion move, but I'm not interested in getting long. All right, Baba trying to make another run. Oh yeah, I would trust the self-driving over humans any day. Apple getting weak now. Indices, a little pause, pull back. Yep. Yeah, I'm always the closest to expiration. Except on Fridays, instead of doing 0 DTE, mostly I do 7. Come on, Baba. One more push out of you. You've done your job. Unlike Microsoft, who's not doing his job. Man, it was showing such good relative strength on that flush. Then it just sat there. I've noticed that out of Microsoft and Apple. Both of those stocks can tend to do that. And Google sometimes too. Yeah, just showing good relative strength compared to the market. Like we just saw with the market going down, Microsoft's holding well, and what I want to see is it bounce, just like Meta did. But with Apple, Microsoft, and Google, sometimes I'll see kind of what we just did, where it's acting strong, holding well on the flush, holding well, and then just sits there. Doesn't do anything on the bounce. I mentioned I went in with smaller size because I wanted to potentially add if I got a dip down to yesterday's high, a little bit closer, but I'm not sure I don't think I'm gonna add here based on how it's acting. Baba could not make another push. I'm going to go ahead and close my remaining Baba. Filled at $1.76. All right, all. I'm going to wrap up the stream. I will post my exit in the day trade channel on Microsoft like I've been posting, and then if anything else comes up, I'll post there as well. I will be away from my computer the last couple hours of the day, so no Power Hour live stream today, and Chad's out as well. So just can't do the Power Hour live stream today, but I will be posting day trades here for the next couple hours if anything comes up. Other than that, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.